I'm Sarah Sapsanamma. Let's begin with the headlines of the hour. Results of all provinces for the National Assembly out. Ruling alliance claims 18 seats. CPN-UML won. The Nepal-China Transit Transport Agreement comes into effect. Nepal begins exporting local products to Japan through China from today. Security Service of Ukraine says it has opened a criminal investigation into the downing of a Russian military plane that Moscow claims killed 65 Ukrainian prisoners of war. And APF defeats Lumini province by 7 wickets at the Prime Minister Cup men's cricket tournament. Bagmati also victorious over Surat Pashchim by 97 runs. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has said that all citizens must abide by the Constitution and institutionalize the federalism, democracy and republicanism. During the meeting held with the former Judges Forum, Nepal, at the Prime Minister's official residence in Balwatar, Premier Dahal said that those are accountable towards the public must not make decisions based on the demands of a mob or the remarks expressed on digital platforms. The Premier urged the former judges to monitor whether or not the Constitution and laws are being followed. During the meeting, former judges drew Prime Minister Dahal's attention towards the need for adjustment in existing laws and to ensure that the law and order is being followed by everyone. Nepal has begun exporting local products to Japan through China from today. An official program was held in the capital to make the announcement. Speaking during the program, Secretary for Industry, Commerce and Supplies Narayan Prasad Sharma Duwadi said the Nepal-China Transit Transport Agreement had created opportunities in the country. At the program, Chinese Ambassador to Nepal, Chen Song, said China believed more in actions than in words and highlighted that the agreement struck during Chinese President Xi Jinping's Nepal visit 4 years ago had come to life.
In September in the same year, 2019, President Xi Jinping paid a historical state visit to Nepal and reached broad understandings on bilateral relationship, including that China's side will take positive measures to support Nepal's economic and trade developments. I believe the time and cost of importing and exporting goods via China will be further reduced. I fully agree with the honorable speakers before me who speak about actions. I can still recall that the first time when I met the Minister of the Ministry of Industry, Commerce and Supply. So the question he raised to me is about the implementation of the transit trade agreements. So today, after 1 year, I can say to him that we have fulfilled that job.
Based on the agreement, Nepali goods will be transported through 3 seaports and 4 dry ports to the third country. President of the Nepal Chamber of Commerce, Rajendra Malla, called on the government to establish a quarantine lab in the bordering region to support the process. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. The question is, which qualification must be assigned the highest priority while appointing the Vice-Chancellor at the Tribhuvan University? Your options are A, experience, B, plan, and C, managerial capabilities. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Welcome back. It's time now for international update. The Security Service of Ukraine has said it has opened a criminal investigation into the downing of a Russian military plane that Moscow claims killed 65 Ukrainian prisoners of war. Likewise, Ukraine's human rights ombudsman said that Ukraine will do everything possible to secure an international investigation into the downing of a Russian military transport plane a day after Moscow accused Kiev of deliberately shooting it down. Russia said the military plane was carrying 65 captured Ukrainian soldiers to a prisoner exchange when it was downed on Wednesday near the Russian city of Belgorod near the Ukrainian border, killing all 74 people on board. Kiev has challenged parts of Moscow's narrative and has not confirmed that Ukrainian prisoners were on board. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that greater clarity was needed about what happened, particularly when it came to who was on board, and accused Russia of playing with the lives of Ukrainian prisoners. Russia has branded the downing of the plane a terrorist act. On Thursday, the Kremlin said nobody could say at this stage how the incident would affect future prisoner swaps. A Japanese man has been sentenced to death for an arson attack at a Kyoto animation studio in 2019, which killed 36 people and injured dozens more. The incident, one of Japan's deadliest in recent decades, killed mostly young artists and shocked the anime world. Shinji Aoba, who is 45 years old, pleaded guilty to the attack, but his lawyers had sought a lighter sentence, arguing grounds of mental incompetence. Judges rejected this, however, ruling Aoba knew what he was doing. Many of the animation staff were killed after being trapped on the upper floors of the studio as the fire spread. Prosecutors had demanded the death penalty, saying Aoba, an author, was motivated to attack the studio after believing his work had been stolen. He said Kyoto Animation had plagiarized a novel he entered into a contest run by the firm. In July 2019, he burst into the studio during a workday, splashing petrol on the ground floor and setting it alight while repeatedly shouting, "Drop dead." Aoba himself suffered burns to over 90% of his body in the fire and was only arrested after he recovered from operations. A South Korean member of parliament for the ruling People Power Party has been attacked and has been taken to hospital while her attacker was arrested on the scene. Various news outlets said the lawmaker, Bae Hyun-jin, had been struck in the head with an object by an unidentified assailant on the street in the affluent Gangnam districts of the capital Seoul, and that she had been bleeding when taken to the hospital. The leader of South Korea's opposition Democratic Party, Lee Jae-myung, was stabbed with a knife in the neck early in January and underwent surgery to repair a lacerated blood vessel. Lee left the hospital 8 days later. Now, people have been looking through the rubble of damaged buildings in Rafah in the aftermath of an Israeli airstrike that hit a mosque and surrounding buildings earlier today. At least 6 people have been killed and dozens have been injured in the strike, Gaza's health ministry has said. In Abu Yusuf al-Nazar hospital, several bodies were laid in plastic body bags where relatives wailed in sorrow, clutching the corpses. Bodies included people killed in Khan Yunis. Palestinian health officials have said at least 25,700 people have been killed in the Gaza war. Israel launched its assault to wipe out Hamas after fighters stormed Israeli towns on October 7, killing 1,200 people and capturing more than 240 hostages. Funerals were held in Iraq for 41 Yazidis killed by Islamic State IS in 2014 and recently identified by authorities following DNA tests. The bodies of the victims were previously in mass unmarked graves, which were exhumed by the Ministry of Health for identification. An official ceremony was first held for the victims in Baghdad on Monday this week, followed by burials in Sinjar yesterday. The Yazidis are an ancient religious minority in eastern Syria and northwest Iraq that Islamic State viewed as supposed devil worshippers for their faith that combines Zoroastrian, Christian, Manichaean, Jewish and Muslim beliefs. The jihadist group killed thousands of Yazidis, enslaved 7,000 women and girls, and displaced most of the 550,000 strong community from their ancestral home in northern Iraq. North Korean leader Kim Jongun has called for ways to be found to improve economic development after saying that a failure to provide people with basic living necessities, including food, is a serious political issue. Kim made the remarks while discussing regional development in a speech at the 19th Enlarged meeting of the Political Bureau of the 8th Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, the country's ruling party, held between Tuesday and Wednesday, according to state media. The North Korean leader also urged his party to bring about a swift change to raise the living standards of people throughout the country and close the gaps between urban and rural areas through its new regional development policy. North Korea has, over recent decades, suffered serious food shortages, including famine in the 1990s, often exacerbated by natural disasters such as floods damaging harvests. In the southwestern city of Aegon, angry farmers set fire to bales of hay, old tires and rubbish they had dumped in front of the wrought iron gates of the prefecture, which represents the central state locally. Protesting farmers also blocked several roads across France to press the government to loosen regulations and help protect them from cheap imports and rising costs. Farmers said the protests, with long lines of tractors snarling roads, would continue as long as the demands were not met, posing the first major challenge for France's new Prime Minister, Gabriel Attal. This shift in so far largely peaceful protests, which started last week, will be a challenge for a government which does not want to antagonize farmers but has also placed law and order as one of its top priorities. Many farmers in the European Union's biggest agricultural producer struggle financially and say their livelihoods are threatened as food retailers are increasing pressure to bring down prices after a period of high inflation. Fearing a spillover from farmer unrest in Germany, Poland and Romania, the French government has already postponed a draft farming law meant to help more people become farmers, saying it will beef up the measures and ease some regulations. South America is seeing a spike in cases of mosquito-borne disease dengue amid the southern hemisphere summer, prompting Brazil to roll out a novel vaccine campaign. Brazil this month has started spraying city streets with insecticide to slow transmission, and hospitals in Paraguay have set up night clinics to handle the sick due to elevated dengue activity. In Brazil, dengue, often called breakbone fever for the severe joint pain it causes, has seen the number of cases in the first week of January more than doubled when compared to the same period last year. Brazil will become the first country in the world to offer a dengue vaccine through the public health system, which officials said would begin within days. Scientists say South America and beyond is seeing the spread of dengue exacerbated by rising temperatures and the El Nino weather pattern in the Pacific that contribute to prolonged dengue seasons and the geographical spread of infections. Spread by mosquitoes, dengue outbreaks typically occur 3 to 5 years after the previous epidemic. The December-February southern summer months bring ideal hot and humid conditions for mosquitoes to breed, spreading the potentially fatal disease that can cause high fever, muscle pain, and internal bleeding. Residents in Brazil's capital, Brasilia, this week were queuing outside temporary medical facilities set up to test for dengue, as caseloads in some suburbs have leapt by as much as 241% in the first 2 weeks of January versus last year. Japan's moon lander achieved an unusually precise touchdown within 100 meters of its target, the space agency said, after the nation became the fifth to put a spacecraft on the moon with the weekend touchdown of its SLIM probe. The landing with an error of less than 100 meters of SLIM, dubbed the Moon Sniper, outstrips the conventional accuracy figure of several kilometers for lunar landers. Japan hopes the demonstration of what it called a pinpoint moon landing will revitalize a space program seeking to overcome setbacks as it moves to capture a bigger role in space by partnering with ally United States to counter China. Aqaba, the only coastal city in Jordan, has experienced a sluggish tourist season, with air routes being cancelled and hotel bookings dropped due to conflict between Israel and Hamas and continued tensions in the Red Sea. Since the onset of the Israel-Hamas conflict on October 7 last year, Yemen's Houthis have been attacking Israeli-linked ships in the Red Sea and vow to continue targeting them until Israel ends its attacks and blockade on the Gaza Strip. In response, the US and Britain have launched several airstrikes on Houthi military sites in Yemen's capital Sana'a and other provinces under the group's control since January 12. The peak travel season of Aqaba usually lasts from October to April, but the regional tensions have dampened travel demands to and from the coastal city. Bagmati province has registered its fifth win in the Prime Minister Cup men's national cricket tournament with a 97-run win over Sudur Pashchim province. With the match, Bagmati also became the first team to play full 50 overs in the first inning, and with the win, the team has climbed to the second position of the points table. In the match held in Mulpani Cricket Ground, Sudur Pashchim chose to field first after winning the toss. Bagmati posted 247 runs, losing 9 wickets in their stipulated 50 overs. Ashutosh Ghiraiya top scored with 54 runs in 62 balls. His innings included 6 fours and 3 sixes. Captain Reet Gautam contributed the second highest 44 runs in 61 balls. Ashok Paul added 31 runs, Sonu Devkota 28, Rabin Joshi 24, Pratish GC 17 and Bipin Acharya 12. Narayan Joshi and Sher Malla claimed 3 wickets each. Vikas Agre took 2 wickets and Milan Bohra 1. Chasing a victory target of 248 runs, Sudur Pashchim were bowled out for 150 in 30.3 overs. Naren Bhatta and Kiran Thagunna contributed the highest 41 runs each. Karak Bohra contributed 21 runs. However, none of the other batters scored in double digits and Sudur Pashchim were restricted to 150 runs. Bagmati Surya Tamang and Bipin Acharya claimed 3 wickets each as Rijan Thakal, Krijan Gurung and Sonu Devkota claimed 1 wicket each. 22-year-old Surya is also the highest wicket taker in the tournament so far with 24 wickets in 8 innings. Bagmati have 10 points from 8 matches. Sudur Pashchim is in the 5th position with 8 points from 6 matches. Likewise, in the match held in 2 cricket grounds in Kantipur, Madhya Province has defeated Gandaki by 145 runs. Madhya Province elected to bat first, having won the toss and posted 335 runs in the stipulated 50 overs, losing 5 wickets. Anil Shah made a century in Madhesh's win as he scored 127 runs in 125 balls. His innings included 11 fours and 6 sixes. Arniko Yadav contributed 63 runs in 34 balls for Madhesh. Pawan Saraf added 40 runs, Rupesh Singh 32 and Abhishek Tiwari and Mayan Yadav 27 each. Sandeep Parajuli claimed 2 wickets for Gandaki, while Krishna Podal and Kamal Pariyar claimed 1 wicket each. Chasing a victory target of 336 runs, Gandaki were restricted to 190 runs in 39.5 overs. Ishwar Chetri and Kamal Pariyar contributed 27 runs each. Krish Iyer scored 26, Chandra Podal 23 and Samir Kadil and Mushkan Thapa 18 runs each. The other batters failed to score in double digits. Rajit Kumar was the pick of the Madhesh bowlers, claiming 4 wickets. Hari Shankar Shah claimed 3. Pradeep Paswan claimed 2 wickets, while Rajesh Yadav had 1 scalp. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.